All right, folks, we are live. It is 11:59 a.m. We'll get us started in just 1 minute on this webinar. Okay, I have us by noon on my watch, so I'm going to get us started. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the New York State Kinship Navigators Lunch and Learn series. My name is Rae Glaser. I'm the director of the New York State Kinship Navigator. I'm joined today by Pat O'Brien from AFFCNY. I'm going to give just a couple of housekeeping items, a quick overview of the Navigator, and then turn it over to Pat. So once again, thank you for joining us. Our monthly lunch and learns are usually the third Thursday of every month. We've had to be a little bit flexible when it comes to different calendars and accommodations the last few months. But from 12 to 12:30, we are here to give a 30-minute overview of a program that we find may be useful to kinship professionals and kinship caregivers. This webinar will be recorded, and the recording will be available to all participants in the Navigator's YouTube page within a week of this webinar. Everybody that is on the webinar today is muted, so if you have questions during the content of the program, feel free to drop them in the chat and I will address them with our speaker. Our next Lunch and Learn is on Thursday, April 10th, and that will be with Hunger Solutions New York. So again, my name is Rae Glaser. I'm the director of the New York State Kinship Navigator. If you're not familiar with the Navigator's programming, we provide information, referral, and education for kinship caregivers, prospective kinship caregivers, and kinship professionals across the state. We have a warm line that we operate Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, 877-454-6463. We can do intakes in a variety of different languages. And then we provide referrals across the state, mostly in conjunction with the New York State Kinship System of Care, where we refer to local kinship services, permanency resource centers, which we're going to hear about today, different legal facets, and anything that a caregiver might be in need of. We also provide information to kinship caregivers right on our website, www.nysnavigator.org. We have over 100 cited legal fact sheets where we talk about different things that caregivers may be interested in terms of financial assistance, legal options for caregivers, enrolling into school, obtaining official documentation, etc. So if you are a kinship caregiver, prospective kinship caregiver, it does not matter what type of legal designation you have over your child. Feel free to give us a call. We can help out, refer you to different local agencies, make sure that you've got everything that you need to take care of the children in your care. If you're a professional and you're looking for resources, please feel free to give us a call, send us an email. You can go on our online chat on our website, and we can help you out with any clients that you might have that you need some assistance with. Before I turn it over to our speaker, I do want to make sure that I acknowledge the Times Union for providing promotional for this webinar series, for providing us with outreach. We appreciate your support as always. And at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Pat O'Brien from AFFCNY to talk a little bit about programming and what their agency provides. Over to you, Pat.
Thank you so much, Rae. I really appreciate being invited today, and welcome everybody. No, I can't see you. I know you're there, and I'm delighted you're here. Let me just tell you first about the coalition, the Adoptive and Foster Family Coalition of New York. We founded in the 1960s, but incorporated in 1975, which means we will be celebrating our 50th birthday at our conference this year, which I'll tell you more about in a second. We were founded by adoptive parents to support one another and advocate on behalf of children and families. And then foster parents and kinship families became part of our family soon thereafter. Originally, our name was the New York State Citizens Coalition for Children, which was not very descriptive of who we are and what we did in terms of representing foster, adoptive, and kinship families. So we legally changed our name in April of 2016. And we really, I really appreciated the spirit of the folks who started the organization, because they felt that we're Citizens Coalition for Children because we wanted children in families rather than institutions. So it was a great name for our first 40 or so years. Our goal as an organization is to support, inform, and advocate for foster, adoptive, and kinship families. Our vision as an organization is no foster, adoptive, or kinship family in New York State should feel alone or unsupported, and that all such families will have the tools to support and community they need to nurture their children and hopefully even be role models for others. I have a staff of about 45 folks right now, and almost all of us are either adoptive, foster, or kinship parents, or perhaps adopted persons, or perhaps people who spent pieces of their childhood in the foster care system, or persons who are impacted by either the child protection system or the way that children are placed for adoption when young women have babies. But we have impacted parents working with us as well. So that's our vision, is to make everybody part of what we do. We're an organization that believes in the diversity and equity and inclusion, because belonging becomes an outcome when you believe in those things as well. Now, just wanted to start out, because we only have a half hour. What do we do to help kinship families and also any adoptive and foster families in the state of New York? We have a 24-hour helpline. Sometimes people just need to talk things out. They have a number they can call, and a person answers the phone. And that's probably the biggest compliment we've ever gotten about the helpline, is people could not believe that most of the time that a person actually answers the phone. And then if they didn't, because they were on a different call, they were just stunned that they got a call right back as soon as the person was available and off the call. We also have a variety of programs, New York State funded programs, OCFS funded programs. New York State is one of the best states in regard to helping families after their kids move in, after finalization of adoptions, after finalizations of kinship guardianships, and after kids' families adopt them and they get kin gap. And we have a program we call Agape, which is a permanency resource center, and these are the services that we provide all the families that we serve. For instance, concrete one-on-one attention. Other places call it case management. We can call it case management, but people call us with a specific need, and our goal is to meet that immediacy need, because we know when we do that, we develop a relationship and a bond with that particular family, and perhaps they will be more amenable to joining other activities within the organization that could, really benefit them, such as support groups. We have support groups specific to kinship families that's available to anybody around the state. We also provide therapy that is both adoption competent, foster care, and trauma informed. And the therapy that we pay for is short term, but it's meant to really help get our families connected to somebody who understands their family and their relationship. Because it's very frustrating when you work with therapists who do not grasp what your child has been through, the early life trauma and loss that your child has been through. With a lot of ongoing family information and resources, we have a newsletter. We have online service directory. We have a website, and we're really developing that website. And we have a network that all sorts of educational materials are available, and anybody can join our network, which is AFFCNY.network, and then you've got access to everything. We're big believers in education and opportunities for learning. That's why we are having our 36th annual Foster Care and Adoption Conference coming up on May 8th and May 9th. And we also do a lot of educational support series to kinship families and families in general. We also, last year, we actually have a staff attorney now that's doing legal advocacy, and she's actually literally at this exact same hour doing a webinar for kinship, foster adoptive families who are experiencing needing help fighting certain issues. Some people have their kids removed. Some people don't get the right subsidy. How do you advocate for them in these particular meetings? So she's doing that right now, and it's good to have a staff attorney who's available for consultation, if not representation. And every Tuesday, the general public we invite to schedule a time with this attorney if you got legal questions related to anything to do with kinship or any other foster or adoptive issues. We do a live radio broadcast every Sunday night. We call it After the Kids Move In. It airs from 6:30 to 7 p.m. on Long Island, but anybody can listen live at this particular website, AM 1240 WGBB. Then specifically, we have 4 contracts with OCFS that cover 8 counties, and this is a kinship caregiver support program. We cover 1 contract for Orange and Rockland County, another contract for Dutchess and Putnam County, another contract is for Cortland and Cuyahoga County, and 4th contract is Tompkins and Chemung County. Now, what we do here is very one-on-one concrete services. What we had noticed sometimes between the PRC families and the caregiver support families is often PRC families ask for concrete help with their children's behaviors. And very often kinship care families start out by having very concrete needs. So what we try to do, it could be how to get child-only grants, how to get on SNAP, how to do a variety of services, because the children often just came to them. And our staff is trained in those concrete services. We know that's going to establish a relationship. We utilize things called the care portal. We utilize a variety of ways to get stuff to families. And then and each of our contracts, our four contracts, have funds built in called non-recurring funds to help families with their immediacy needs when they first call us. And that's for these eight counties, and we're working on trying to get that into our PRC contracts as well. So it's very, very important often that families have a need that we might be able to help with financially. And non-recurring means if you need a bed, we'll get you a bed, but we're not doing ongoing support. If you need to get on SNAP, but you don't have food right now, well, we can get you a little food right now while you're applying, while our staff is helping you apply to SNAP. So that's what non-recurring is. It's a one-shot deal to get something going so we can establish this relationship. And and the other thing that is unique to these 8 counties is OCFS has given us the opportunity to provide mental health support with adoption, kinship, foster care competent, trauma-informed therapists. And it's really amazing. We're working on training therapists, getting therapists adoption, foster care, kinship competent, understanding that what we need more is trauma-informed therapists who understand about early life trauma and loss. Also, and it's for these 8 programs, but it's also for anybody in New York State. We do a caregiver connection support group every Thursday at noon. In fact, that's what's going on in the other area right now. It was geared for our kinship families, the advocacy stuff that we're discussing at this exact same time. We also have a monthly parent gathering, the 4th Thursday of every month, with a variety of very interesting subjects. For instance, this month, Lisa Maynard, who's a therapist in Rockland County, is doing the second of a 2-part series on the concept of grief and loss, and we have that particular information right here. Also, I just want to also share with everybody in the state of New York, we are having our 36th annual conference coming up in Hyde Park, which is right above Poughkeepsie at the CIA, which is a funny thing because it's Culinary Institute of America. And this year, for the first time, we're also bringing our conference via video to 3 locations around the state. We're going to be in Hauppauge, Long Island. We're going to be in Ithaca and Tompkins County. We're going to be in Buffalo in Erie County. So I'm hoping that people can come to our conference one way or the other. If you come to Hyde Park and you come down, which is a drop above Poughkeepsie, and if you're from New York City, it's the last stop on Metro North, and it's a great opportunity to network with people around the state, and it's just something very different and powerful. We took it for granted before COVID, but now we're realizing how important it is for people to get together at least on an annual basis. And there's plenty of scholarships for families. So just reach out to us if you need that. But
Hey
I
Pat,
hope yes,
we have one question coming in,
yes.
and it's Katie Scalerio from Suffolk County DSS. She wants to know, is the Caregiver Connection Support Group available to kinship foster families in Suffolk County that need a support group?
Yeah, yes. Anybody can come to our support groups that are virtual.
Perfect.
So and that support group is virtual. So yes.
All
Yeah,
right.
and
Sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
no, don't no, it's not interruption at all. And I forgot to say, if anybody's got any questions, please ask them. So thank you, Ray. Um, so that's Thursday, May 8th, Friday, May 9th, and we're encouraging as many people as possible to come. Um, and also, another thing I just wanted to share with you is the connection that our coalition has with Kinship Navigators and Ray's coalition. Ray and I have quarterly meetings. We discuss issues on advocacy and information all the time, and it's a very, very powerful partnership. So I just wanted to, let folks know that we're deeply committed to being very involved in kinship and the Kinship Navigator program and the Kinship Coalition. I do try to always have somebody there if I can't come myself at your coalition meetings. Now, what I'd like for everybody to be aware of in the area of post services, post adoption, post guardianship, New York State has really responded to the need of those families. And every county in this state has a permanency resource center as of March 1st. And all those permanency resource centers, which was not true before March 1st, but is true now, serve kinship families. And I'm going to have you look. Actually, I'm going to come back to that page in a second. But I want you to know, what PRC populations do we target? Well, when we created the name of our PRC, we called it Agape. So our 20 counties that we target, the E stands for everyone, and we take that seriously. So the PRCs target all finalized adoptive families, from foster care, from intercountry, from privately over the course of a lifetime, your adopted children through through the launching of your child's adulthood. So from infancy to 21. And there's a lot of relatives who adopt, and they are totally able to utilize our services after the legal adoption. That is same true with legal guardianship, which a lot of relatives also utilize, including the Kin Gap program. The only families we're not allowed to, I'm talking through the contracts that we have, that we're not allowed to serve, the PRC contract, are families who are currently in the foster care system. But once those families finalize, we can totally work with them. Now, the kinship population is true. If you're a kinship foster parent, we're not allowed to work with you through these contracts. The coalition works with you, absolutely, but through the contracts. But we are allowed now, which we weren't before, all kinship families with legal custody, all kinship informal arrangements, and And the criteria for a referral is very simple. I'm talking to the PRCs and the kinship support programs. Proof of legal finalization of either an adoption or guardianship or custody. If you're informal, then we will figure out another way to talk to you about some sort of verification. And the
And
families.
Pat, I'm sorry, when you talk about informal, you're saying that they don't have any type of legal paperwork at all whatsoever, right?
That is correct. They
Oh.
are raising their relative children, but there's no legal paperwork.
Yeah, the only reason I ask is there's a lot of buzz about formal versus informal. Sometimes it's defined as anyone outside the child welfare system is informal, whether or not they have guardianship or custody. But sometimes it also means that there's absolutely no legal designation whatsoever. And I was
Well,
pretty sure that's what you meant.
yes, no,
Um,
no, you're right. If we're going to define formal, it's you got papers, either
oh,
adoption, guardianship, or custody. But a
perfect.
lot of
That's
a
what
lot of
I thought.
people do not have that.
Sure.
And by the
Pat,
way,
we have a couple of questions coming in about the conference. Do you want to take those now, or would you rather finish
yes,
the
in a second, in a second. I just wanted. I'm sorry. I just wanted to finish this
No,
point
you're good. Go
that
ahead.
every one of your counties have PRCs who are there to serve your informal kinship families as well as all the other kinship families, except for kinship families that are licensed foster parents. We can't help kinship licensed foster parents until they finalize their kin gap guardianship or finalize their adoption. Then we all can help them as well. So let me. Oh, and as we're going to ask the next question, I wanted to put this here so that you can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 organizations now, and there's actually 3 more in New York City. So 15 organizations that provide PRC services to kinship families. And if you want to see which one is serving your county, the list is right here. And this list is as of March 1st. Rae, the
Yeah,
questions?
100%. And let me just say there that, if you are looking for services as a kinship family, or you're looking to refer somebody for services, the right way to go about it, that we would prefer at least, is that you have them call the Kinship Navigator, that we're able to do an intake, and then we can refer them out
Oh,
to any
cool.
of these PRCs or also the local kinship programs. So thank you so much for that, Pat. That's really helpful. The 2 questions that I have coming in the chat are about the conference. So the first one is, can professionals attend the conference, and how do they find out more about dates and registration? And the second one that ties right in with that I'll just add together. In terms of registration, looking for more information on registration, which we can share, absolutely,
Yes.
in an email that goes out, but also scholarship information on the conference so that they can share with families.
Right now, we have the ability to scholarship license foster parents, which could be kinship families. But anybody who's interested in a scholarship should reach out to our website, AFFCNY.org conference, and just apply for a scholarship so that we know who wants them. And we're going to do our best to at least the site where we have the conference in Hyde Park. Whoever wants a scholarship for there, we're going to do our best to get you in there. I think it'll be a little bit easier the off sites, but we're in the process of working it out. Haven't fully completed what the process is yet, but it will I'll know shortly, but just go to our AFFCNY.org/conference.
Perfect. That makes sense. And then at that point in time, Pat can give you some more information
Yeah,
about that.
and for professionals, you can just go on now and register for the conference, and we would encourage you to do that.
Excellent.
It's one of the most reasonably priced conferences, and we're at the Culinary Institute of America, and we're doing breakfast and lunch. So think about whatever the conference fee is. It includes breakfast and lunch, and that's a really really good deal at a conference. And there'll be sort of a party on Thursday night celebrating our 50th anniversary, and we're going to have some great keynotes. We have Lydia Cushman coming in from Families Rising, formerly known as NACAC, who's going to give us a national perspective. We have Dr. LaShonda Pittman coming in, who wrote a book about grandmothering while Black, but it's also a book about kinship parenting, and she's got some great messages for all kinship parents. We have Greg Luce talking about immigration issues because a lot of a number of people who have adopted children or who have taken in children through the foster care system that might have come from other countries. There's a lot of very interesting questions there. And then we're gonna end with a really wonderful adoptive parent who understands trauma and who understands where kids are coming from. And it's going to be, I think it's called humility, and healing. And it's going to be very, very inspiring. So we hope you come to Hyde Park, but you also have other opportunities to attend the conference this year. We won't be doing virtual live, but we will be doing virtual and making that available to people after the conference is over. We're really striving, but at this conference, to get people together.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. You got a couple minutes left, Pat, if there's anything else that you want to talk about in terms of your agency. If not, we can open it up for any more questions that folks have.
Yeah, I'm okay with questions. We just have so much available to anybody, and like I'm focusing on kinship today, and I'm also focusing on some of the services that we offer directly to kinship. But those services hopefully are offered by all the permanency resource centers as well. And the kinship caregiver support, it's very specific to our contracts, but we're doing very unique things with those contracts. And I can't give enough credit to the New York State Office of Children and Family Services for really understanding the importance and the power of serving kinship families.
100%. This is actually the first time in history where every single county has been covered by an agency that can serve kinship caregivers, and just to speak to something you said, that both the local kinship programs and the permanency resource centers, the only families that they cannot serve are foster parents.
That's right.
And it's still something where we wish that they had the ability for that. But foster parents usually have access to preventive services through child welfare. So that is at least a safety net that they have for that as well. And like Pat said, if you're exiting foster care into kinship guardianship or kin gap, that's something that the PRCs are able to serve. So that
That's
is
right.
absolutely wonderful. Working in this field for the last 18 years, it's really, really heartwarming to know that we can make referrals to every single county for most of the families. Well, Pat,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it. Definitely learned a lot. Just to reiterate, the webinar recording from this will go out within a week, as well as the slides that Pat shared. We'll also make sure that we send out the information, right in the body of the email about where folks can go to register for the conference. As you can see, it's also right on Pat's last slide here, AFFCNY.org.
Yeah.
Again,
And I do want to encourage people. That's my direct number and that's my email. If any clarification you need on anything, just email me or call me.
yep, and he's great at returning phone calls. We've had calls at 7:30 in the morning. Not that I'm opening that up for everyone, Pat, but he's a very responsive person. So thank you again for joining us today, Pat. We really appreciate it. And thanks to everybody for taking the time to join us today. Stay tuned for registration. We'll be coming up within the week for April's Lunch and Learn with Hunger Solutions New York.
Oh, interesting.
Thanks
All
again,
right.
everybody. Have a great day.